Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
What's going on? It is the final countdown. Jeremy Long here with, without MP. MP currently on his second deathbed. I think, he might hit that old golden hoop in the sky somewhere. Instead joined by JC, not Jesus Cristo, but John Carlisle. But just like Jesus Cristo, John has to be invited into your heart for him to really make a difference. John, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, Jeremy. How you doing, buddy?
Man, doing good. It's the NBA trade deadline day. It ended around noon today. Here on the West Coast, so we got a lot to talk about. We'll get there in a little bit, but first, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Mossberg Injury Lawyers. From accidents to injuries, workers' comp, and even wrongful death, Mossberg Injury Lawyers are the #1 legal team in Nevada. Call 702-222-4555, 702-222-4555, and if you want to join in on the show, 702-608-3259. I'm throwing a lot of numbers at people. I'm seeing who's keeping up here. A lot of fun stuff. So, like I said, man, you know what? But we have some other stuff to talk about before we get to the NBA trade stuff. All the ins and outs going on there. So let's have a little barbershop chop.
Do it.
Barbershop chop. All right, first up, we got a lot of news coming out of New York. The New York Mets, their proposed sell from the Wilpon family to the hedge fund manager, Steve Cohen, is apparently off. Did you even know the Mets were being sold?
Well, not until about, 3 hours ago, right? But yeah, I guess obviously there's disputedly, the Wilpon family wanted to adjust the terms of the contract, right?
Right.
About how much longer they wanted control. And obviously now when you back out of a deal like that, it has to be a reason.
Right.
Our fearless commissioner is saying that he doesn't think the Wilpons did anything wrong to hurt the deal, but you back out of a deal like that, something's going on, right? There's smoke, so what else?
Right.
Got to be some fire.
800-year-old Fred Wilpon wanted to stay on for a number of years as the CEO.
Right.
As they kind of, like a transition period. But when you're 83 years old, I don't want to say you are not long for this earth, but you definitely should start wrapping things up at that point. I don't know if you should be CEO.
How much longer past 2024 would you want it to go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Steve Cohen he already had an 8% interest.
That's right.
He wanted to purchase up to 80%, have that majority ownership stake there. But apparently everything at the moment, this could change tomorrow. At the moment, everything is staying the same as far as the Mets are concerned. The Nets too, right?
Yeah.
On the other side of the tracks, you have the New York Knicks. The Knicks, which have been a dumpster fire since the 90s.
Forever?
Yes, that's Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
They've hired sports agent Leon Rose as their next team president. Now, Leon Rose has a documented history, been a powerful agent in the NBA for years and years. Used to represent Allen Iverson, LeBron James. Now he's with Carmelo and Chris Paul and those kind of guys. So very powerful guy. What do you think about this hire? Is this another misfire by the Knicks?
Well, so obviously when you say a former agent coming into an executive position, you think names like Pelinka, right?
Right.
So I don't know enough about this guy to really say whether or not he can run a front office of an NBA. But doesn't it just kind of feel like throwing a dart at the dartboard and hoping it kind of hits bullseye and sticks?
With the Knicks.
Yeah.
With the Knicks. Here's the thing. If it was anyone else but the Knicks, I would give it more of a, hey, positive attitude. I mean, obviously Leon Rose is a lawyer, and he's a very smart guy, and he's represented all these clients for all these years and have done right by them, so he knows the game. And he obviously knows his way around the basketball front office, the inner workings. But James Dolan is still the owner.
Right. So
the Knicks.
Yeah, it makes you wonder just to what degree are they saying Lakers, Warriors did it. We'll try it too. Dart thrown. Let's see.
The Lakers and Warriors are two different, are decidedly different franchises from the Knicks.
I know.
I mean, just
who knows? I wish him luck, man.
I feel kind of sad for Knicks fans because it looks like more of the same.
Yeah.
It looks like more of the same. And just in case you wondered, Steve Mills was fired earlier this week after getting that job, in the summer of 2017, I believe?
Not too long ago,
So, like a year and a half he was given, and James Dolan.
That's plenty of time to build a franchise, right?
That's especially with the Knicks. Especially turning around the Knicks, Team presidents, though. It's kind of that season, though.
Yeah, I hear it.
Coaches and all that stuff. Oh, yes, we have voices.
I hear them too, man.
So, we're talking about basketball a little bit, and we're going to get into this trade, some of these trades. But before we get to that, you know what? I skipped ahead of myself. The Red Sox and Dodgers, they had a deal in place, moving Mookie Betts to the Dodgers, also throwing in David Price.
Yep.
Just kind of attaboy, there you go to the Dodgers, try to win you another ring. Oh, and take your $100 million, the rest of your deal while we're at it. But that's on hold right now.
Right.
The deal has been reported as dead some places, but it's on hold because of a prospect's physical. What are you hearing about this?
Well, that's the last I heard. I dug into it a little bit, and as of right now, I don't know what could be wrong with this prospect or what flagged. You would think they would have known this ahead of time before making this deal, but I don't know exactly what's going on with this guy. I haven't really heard or seen much about it. I saw it flagged that it's on hold, and that's the last I heard.
Right. Strangely enough, the scoop really kind of came out of Barstool Sports, which, all fairness, they're not really known for their, scooping, but as they're getting larger and larger, they're getting more connects. A blogger, I can't remember his name, I'm so sorry. I can't remember his name, but he posted that he was hearing rumblings about this before any of the big wigs got in, any of the big baseball guys had posted anything. He was hearing that a prospect, something about their physicals in the past, dubious paperwork being done.
Oh, wow.
Maybe being treated as, okay, or hiding injuries or trying to downplay injuries or injury history or something like that. It still hasn't all come to the forefront, but it's something to that measure where, and we've seen this happen before with big trades, man.
Yeah.
Prospects that are being thrown in because of some dubious paperwork from team doctors or whoever, team presidents. These trades get torpedoed. So it's not torpedoed yet. They're not saying that. They might go back to the bargaining table and said, okay, instead of this guy, you're going to give us, some other people, but it's on hold.
Yeah, I think it'll go through though. I mean, the Dodgers want Betts, and the Red Sox want to
We're a couple of
clear
days out from spring training too, so a lot of pressure on these front offices to kind of get deals done.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, the Astros pick up James Click from the Rays to fill their GM position, to fill that front office of this team.
Don't even get me started.
Oh, and he gets his first measure is having Dusty Baker, 700-year-old Dusty Baker, who's going to wear out as many arms as he can in 1 month, in one season.
Yeah,
it seems to be his thing, man. He loves to do it. It seems, but a week out from spring training breaking, and all these things are going down. So a lot of pressure on front offices.
Right. Yeah.
I would see from the outside looking in, going, okay, we need to have our house in order before these things go
It's going to be interesting, that interview. I guess MLB Network is going to have an interview
tomorrow,
airing tomorrow night.
AJ Hinch.
Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting. I think the Astros they showed no fortitude. I wouldn't have fired anyone. I would have looked at baseball, given them the proverbial middle finger, and said, "We did nothing wrong." It's a long story. I know you guys.
No.
You guys have
if
already
you've done nothing wrong, then
I think.
Okay, so they got the fine handed down, and they got the punishment handed down.
Yeah.
And if you agree with it, if you don't agree with it, or whatever.
Why not just suspend the guy for 1 year, just like Sean Payton? You didn't see the Saints bailing on Sean Payton, did you?
No.
No.
I think AJ Hinch is the only guy who didn't do anything wrong in this, and he got the shaft. So it'll be interesting to see what turn this interview takes. Like, he doesn't, owe any loyalty to a team that fired him.
No, not.
We were talking about businesses earlier firing you, and you owe no loyalty to them, right? When they call you up wanting passwords for things, I don't owe you anything,
or
bro.
keys, or anything else.
You don't sign any of my checks anymore. I don't owe you jack, bro. So I mean, same way with AJ. You ain't paying me no more. So what do I have?
I suspect we're going to hear just a tick of bitterness come out of him.
Just a tick. So that'll be interesting, man.
Yeah.
So that'll be. It's either going to go one or two ways. He's going to have that, and he's going to shed more light on it, or he's not. He's going to toe the company line, read some press release material.
His only company right now is his own corporation of him.
He's trying to save his own skin.
Yeah.
Because if he's ever the first place that hires him back, no matter what position, you're going to catch flack for it.
Yeah.
Because of how big this scandal was, and everything else. Even though you were made the scapegoat, and even though you're probably the only guy in there who didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It may be the end of his baseball career for a while. Now.
Maybe.
For a couple of years.
I would take a chance on him if I needed a good GM.
If I was the lower team if you had nothing to lose, I would pull the trigger on AJ Hinch in a heartbeat. Yeah. If I was the Orioles or somebody like that,
of course.
What do we have to lose? No one even pays attention to us anyway. Let me get this guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
At least reporters would start showing back up for the games and covering our stuff again.
We know the Mets aren't going to get him.
The Mets. Yeah, he could consult for the Knicks maybe. Let's look at some of these trades.
Right on.
Going down, the trade deadline just hit a couple of hours ago, and it's trying to make sense. There was a lot of trades. We're not going to get to every single one of these trades, okay? But we will hit the major ones. The big one was the 4-team, 12-player deal that earlier in the week shipped a bunch of different players around. It was head-spinning. The big ones, Clint Capella, the Timberwolves shipped Robert Covington to Houston, and it seems that all four teams in this kind of improved a little, but didn't really do a whole lot for any major ways.
Yeah, no, I think most of that kind of focuses on the future, right? Like, did it really have any impact on this season, right? I don't really think it did. I mean, does it really make... Timberwolves were involved in another big trade I know we're going to get to, but did it really, really impact them immediately this year? I don't think it did. I mean, it's a lot of players, a lot of money, a lot of draft picks moving around, but nothing that necessarily I think we can look at, outside of maybe two of them, that you can look at and say, bam, that's going to have a solid impact on the rest of the year.
Yeah, at this trade line, it seems that the Timberwolves were very active, just like the Warriors and a couple other teams. Yeah. They seem to maybe have I don't know. It's really hard to grade because is D'Angelo Russell that much better for this team? Not much better as a one-on-one player, but that much better for this team than Andrew Wiggins for that particular trade.
Well, I think
they've seemed to get marginally better, but
I think from the Timberwolves' perspective, as far as Wiggins goes, I think didn't they get everything they were going to get out of him? I mean, there's a lot of question that even this year at the Warriors, right? Like they're not going to get much out of Wiggins. Like they're hoping that they get something out of him when Klay comes back. So it's a next year thing for the Warriors, right? So if you're the Wolves, why not give up on the guy and get D'Angelo Russell and see if you can turn him into something, right?
I'm really sad that we won't get to see what that pairing would look like, D'Angelo Russell with Steph and Klay and these guys when they're healthy.
Yeah.
Because he got all of a cup of coffee with Steph before Steph broke a bone in his hand and went
something
down.
Like that. Yeah.
It was very quick, so we'll never see. At this point, we'll never see.
No,
for the short term, we'll never see.
So if you plug in Wiggins in that Warriors lineup, and I'm just thinking, next year when you have Klay there, you have Steph there. Wonder what kind of role they're envisioning for him, like from 2 years ago. Do they think he's like the Iguodala? Like, no way, different players, right? Like, what are they thinking he's going to do? Like, what role? I mean, I'm trying to think
a little bit better on defense.
Yeah.
The offense is offset, but really what it looks like it's coming down to, and I'm not the first to have this one, but it's instantly what I thought was that them betting against the Wolves and against D'Angelo Russell for those draft picks. picks.
That's it.
It's a protected. It's a top three protected draft pick, and they're thinking that this may not work out for them, and we're hedging our bets that we can get a really good,
bad
some
enough.
really good picks.
Yeah, bad enough to get into the lottery, but not so bad that you're going to get a top 3 pick.
Yeah,
that's a heavy dice roll, man.
That's a heavy dice roll. That would be an absolute collapse, especially for the Wolves. I mean, the Wolves have been playing. What are they? The 8th seed, I believe. Not even close.
No,
not even close.
They're not good.
Okay,
they're not good at all.
They're not good at all. There you go.
I don't know where they're standing, but
I thought they were
good.
closer. But I guess that was a couple of weeks ago when I last looked. Honestly, but just to break that deal down, the Warriors traded D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves for Andrew Wiggins, a 2021 top 3 protected first and second round picks. If they don't get that, then it turns to an unprotected pick in 2022.
Right.
The Timberwolves got Jacob Evans and Omari Spellman, also from the Warriors. Just
right. And real quick, Timberwolves are the second worst record in the West right now, 15-35.
There you go.
They've just lost 13 in a row.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, they're not. That was a couple of weeks ago when I looked. All right. So there you go. That's the bet right there. That's what the real trade is. I mean, Andrew Wiggins and Russell still. I mean, I like the future look of D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, both pick and roll kind of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, real strong up the pick and roll.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be really fun for them. But it's all about the future. A lot of these trades.
And their best friends been trying to play with each other for a while.
Yeah,
now, so.
And absolutely, both guys are going to be super happy.
Yeah.
And they're both players, Russell and Wiggins, are locked up in deals for the next couple of years. Russell's has 3 years left, $117 million on that contract. When he went from Brooklyn to Golden State, Wiggins is in the second year of his $140 million 5-year contract. So you have a couple of seasons to figure it out. If these both are young guys, at the end of it, you shed those contracts or you move them if they are still playing decent, which they should.
Right.
They're both trending upwards. So, maybe you could still flip those later on if it's not working out.
No,
but you still get to experiment for, a season.
A half. The Warriors will know really quick whether or not they want to keep him.
Yeah,
probably half a season.
Absolutely.
They may even move him next year, like you said.
And move them while they still have value and you still got under team control.
Yeah.
Send them out there. Somebody will bite.
Yeah.
The Knicks will bite. The Cavs pick up Andre Drummond from the Pistons. Kind of a sad end for Drummond's time in the Pistons. That's the only team he's been with for the last eight seasons or so. He's been in the league. Never really was surrounded with much with the Pistons.
Nope.
And now going to the Cavs. Remember, he was originally drafted by the Cavs, right?
Yeah.
And was sent over in the Kevin Love trade.
Right. So it was really perfect for Drummond because he got to the Cavs just in time to get shipped away while LeBron was there, and now he comes back with LeBron gone. So, yeah, great for Drummond, right?
Good for Drummond.
And God, that's horrible. I mean, you come into the league, you think you're going to play with LeBron for X number of years. Boom, you're gone. You miss out on everything, and then it's like, come on back.
Yeah.
To Cleveland without LeBron.
Good for the Pistons.
Christmas came early.
The Pistons, the next couple of summers they freed up a lot of cap space there to, I guess, kind of rebuild that team. The Cavs.
That's what, I guess. Literally, if you go on Bleacher Report and kind of read the recap of all the trade grades, that's literally what they say. It's like, what are they even doing? Like, they don't get it. Like, where does he fit? Why does he fit?
Right.
How does he fit? Who does he fit?
Kind of like the Grizzlies. We'll get to it a little bit.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Like, why did you, with Iguodala, why did you do all this? You know, shed it. You shedded all this cap space, and you acquired all these picks, and then you take it all back.
but like I said earlier, that's like this entire trade series, right? The overarching thought was picks, money, cap space, room. What are we going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 years from now?
Buyers and sellers, man.
That's
Buyers and sellers, the teams that think they have a shot. But oftentimes you get teams that pretend they have a shot. They want to pretend they have a shot.
Who might you be discussing?
The Cavs Pistons. Well, overall, I mean, kind of look at. Oh, wait, we didn't even give a grade to the Russell and Wiggins. What would you grade that? Russell and Wiggins going back.
I would say a B for both teams. Yeah. Nothing spectacular, but I don't know. Probably not going to soul crush you either.
Cavs and Pistons. Who do you think the winner of that trade is?
The people that like to laugh at Cleveland. That's who I think won that one.
I think good for if anyone won out of that, it's Drummond's. You get out of Detroit. Obviously, they weren't going to do anything.
No,
there's no, and he even put on Twitter, "There's no love and loyalty. No one gave me a heads up. They just shipped me off." He's out of a toxic. I hate that word these days, but he's out of a toxic situation there.
But isn't Cleveland just as toxic? I mean, good God, it's Cleveland.
Yeah, but it's you got Kevin Love there. I mean, it's a little bit different. So you'll have a new car smell for at least a little while.
The rest of the year,
the rest of the season, I mean, you weren't going to make the playoffs either way.
No,
you weren't going to do anything significant.
No.
So the rest of that was guard Brandon Knight, also John Henson, who's the center, and a 2023 second-round pick are all just kind of moved around, floating pieces for that. But Andre Drummond's was the main piece. Now the big one, I guess, if there's a winner at the trade deadline, it's got to be the Clippers, who ran off with Marcus Morris. He's having a good, probably one of his best seasons. Morris is often involved in trades at the deadline.
Yeah, no kidding.
Poor guy. But he's a really good piece to a team that's contending, and that's what the Clippers are envisioning, that they are setting themselves up for an extended playoff run.
Yeah, they think they're gonna contend with the Lakers, and they will, right? They'll contend. Who knows, right? I mean, they're gonna contend. So from everything that I've been able to pick up on and read, is Morris is the guy they needed, right? They just needed a little more depth at that position, so they went out and made it happen. But the big winner, the Clippers. What about the Heat and getting Iguodala? You don't think they're a winner, or did we?
You know what? It comes down to the coaching. Iguodala hasn't played in 6 months.
Right.
He hasn't been there since since the finals or something like that. So, and he's 36, 37 years old. How fast can he get back to in shape?
Yeah.
Has he been stayed in shape? Ring rust. Rust and everything else. I mean, it depends on what version of Iguodala they get.
That's right.
And as quickly as they get him.
Right.
And then what is the game plan?
So you get a quarter of a season to get him in shape and get him up to speed, and then he's rested. So if he hits, do you have a chance at Milwaukee? Maybe. I think everyone's pretty much given the East to Milwaukee. Yeah. But if not Milwaukee, then who else? The Heat?
I guess the Heat.
I don't know. It's pretty weak over there.
But I mean, Milwaukee still. That lineup, Milwaukee.
No one's beating Milwaukee. What am I talking about? I'm just going to stop.
I don't see it. I mean, but stranger things have happened before. I mean, that's why they play the games that they play. Morris is currently averaging 9.6 points a game, almost 5.5 rebounds per game, having a really career year at 30 or 31.
Yeah.
He's right at that point. 30, 31.
Late middle aged.
Isaiah Thomas was included in this, but I mean, they didn't even let him get in the building. They didn't even activate him a key card.
No,
they're like, bro, we waving you. You go home. You go
bye. You don't have to go home.
And also involved in this, the Wizards are going to get Clippers guard Jerome Robinson. Really interesting there, because the Clippers have always, not the Clippers, the Wizards have always really wanted Jerome Robinson.
Yeah.
They put it out there in public a couple years ago, whenever they missed on him in the draft. They really wanted this guy for some reason. He was a great scorer in college, hasn't really shown much. He didn't really show much in a season and a half with the Clippers.
Right.
So now they get him, and I guess it's one of those philosophies of, we're going to team him up with the guy that we picked, and the guy we wanted to pick, and hopefully our coaching will get more out of him. He will absolutely get more playing.
He's going to get more minutes, right?
Yeah. So
and you never know. Sometimes you have a vision for a group or a set of players, and it just pops, you know. And what do they say all the time? What if Mahomes had gone to Cleveland instead of Baker, right?
Yeah.
Then he wouldn't be the same, right? I mean, so
we
maybe
like to think that he wouldn't be the same. It's
Well,
like envisioning
but who
Tom
knows?
Brady at this point on a different team. It's like, are you going to get
would he be
Tom
the same,
Brady?
though?
Are you going to get? Is he a product of the system, or is he
Yeah,
that
I mean,
really great of a quarterback?
so I mean, point being is maybe the kid goes over there to Washington, and who knows? Maybe
he blows
pops.
up and they flip him for D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
They're always flipping D'Angelo.
I know,
Russell. That's working
D'Angelo.
out. Just like Marcus Morris. There you go. And also in there, your New York Knicks, for you Knicks fans, they get Mo Harkless. And
Yay.
a 2020 first round pick from the Clippers. So
Oh, God.
I got, good for the Clippers. If you're a Clippers fan, that's probably the best outcome at the trade deadline you could hope for. You got a guy who's having a career season.
Yep.
He's obviously not going to get the same amount of playing time. His minutes are going to go down a bit, but they add some depth. They add a scorer and try to address a little bit, a few of their issues.
Right.
Plus the salary is manageable. And,
And
all the way around, even from hitting from beyond the arc, he's at 37%, which is a career high for him. Which he's having a great year.
Yeah, he is. And like you said, if there's any trade, if there's any trade that's going to have an impact on this season, this playoff run, that's the one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. So grades all the way around. I mean, it's kind of like a wait and see on Jerome Robinson. What are the Wizards going to do for him? The Knicks were involved because the Knicks like being involved in stuff. They show up at the party. They bring something weird like
yeah,
organic kale or something. They're like, hey, let's add that to the barbecue. And you're like, whatever, bro. I mean, you don't hate them. You're not gonna do anything with it.
no,
The Grizzlies and the Heat agree to Andre Iguodala. We mentioned that earlier.
yeah,
Excuse me. The Heat are sending Justice Winslow, Dion Waiters, the suspended Dion Waiters, James Johnson to Memphis for Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, and Solomon Hill, which is weird because Memphis was all in with Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill. Waiters, of course, not expected to remain on the roster. He's going to be cut. No draft picks are changing hands in the deal. In a later trade on Thursday, the Minnesota Timberwolves got in and reportedly sending center Ding. I don't know.
dang,
Gorgie, you know him? You know him. Quan knows him. He's more of a basketball fan than I am. To the Grizzlies for Johnson. And that's all with Woj bomb, Adrian Wojciechowski. What stood out to me is, of course, Andre Iguodala. What version are you going to get? How quickly can he, get up to speed with the Heat? He's a great player whenever he's clicking, but also he's 36 and he's got a lot of miles.
Yeah.
But he's kind of rested. He hasn't been running around as much, in the last 6 months or so.
If you can just get a 3-month push out of the guy, just a 3-month push, that's all you need, right? And maybe that helps you. But like I said, really anyone going to beat Milwaukee? I just don't see it. Basketball is the easiest sport, as everyone knows, to predict a conference finals and a potential finals,
Really?
right? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Well, how about this? The Bucks, and then on the other side, Lakers, Clippers. The Bucks will win the East. I'm still a coin flip right now in the West. But those are 3 of your 4 conference finalists right there. So, of course it's easy. Come on. We've talked about this, man. Right? Remember that time I said if it doesn't involve the Cavaliers or the Golden State Warriors, it's irrelevant. Well, right now, if it doesn't involve Milwaukee, the Clippers, or the Lakers, somewhat irrelevant.
Yep, and that's why we're not talking about the irrelevant things that are happening. I'm not even bringing up the Rockets because it doesn't matter.
No.
Miami clears about $40 million in cap space. And over the next couple of summers, Miami's still a nice destination for free agents. They still look around at it. Hey, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And they have a decently strong team with no huge superstars. And they, of course, don't have a superstar trio down there. So they could, clear it out and host some superstars or potential landing space for some big free agents or whatever over the next couple of summers.
Right, yeah.
So, it works for them. I'm just confused at Memphis because they've had success with Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill, and then they kind of blow it all up, even though they've been on this decent little run for Memphis.
Yeah.
A decent run, and are they already kind of pushing in the chips, going, nope? Memphis seems to be a perpetual. I mean,
they're always 5 years away.
Morant is a really great, player, rookie of the year, probably.
Right.
More than likely going to be rookie of the year.
And maybe they just wanted, I don't know, are they that high on Justice Winslow? I mean, I watched him a lot when he was in college because obviously he's a Duke fan, right? So are they just really thinking, get Justice Winslow in there and pair him up? Like, I mean,
see him for half a season and then maybe.
Yeah, I mean, is that
wave him or flip him?
Maybe that's a thought. I don't know.
It's just kind of
puzzling.
It's puzzling also because you look at the cap space. I made a little note to myself here. Memphis was going to have about $43 million in cap space this summer, and now that's kind of been wiped out. And the free agent crop for this summer, that's why teams are planning for the following summer.
Right.
I mean, free agents
2021 and beyond
is rather weak. So 2021 and beyond, that's when things kind of, there's still a little bit more hope. And it's perplexing for Memphis. And to me, it just didn't make any sense. But then again,
I would say 80% of these trades made no sense to me. I mean, seriously. I mean, you're talking about, God, I saw draft picks getting moved for 2023, 2024, second, third round. I mean, so yeah,
a lot of it all down the line.
Yeah, a lot of it was perplexing to me, quite honestly.
All down the line.
I was hoping Dallas would make a move for someone.
And surprisingly, they stayed pat.
Yeah, I mean, bring in someone else for Luka and Kristaps, but no,
Luka.
Although they made a signing after their guy got hurt, so
yeah. So there you go. That's the major ones that have gone down as far as the NBA trade deadline. Other kind of news kind of broke today. Eric Weddle.
Yeah.
He retired after how many years?
Oh, God, what, 9 or 10? 11?
Something like that.
God, he spent, what? I want to say he spent 7 at least in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
And then another few?
Yeah, 13 seasons.
Wow.
6 times, 6 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros. I mean, just a heck of a career for this guy. And he's calling it quits, man.
Yeah.
And he says, no regrets, baby. I've had a great run. No regrets.
Yeah. Hall of Fame or Hall of really, really good?
I think eventually he might get in.
He's a maybe. He's one of those strong maybes.
I think there's going to be other candidates that fill the place, that fill up the spots first.
Yeah.
Definitely not first year.
No. He's definitely in that Hall of really, really, really good.
Really good. So that's why I think he eventually gets in.
But then I wouldn't have put Edgerrin James in over, say, John Lynch. So who knows? Anything's possible.
Yeah. Edgerrin James kind of surprised me with the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, over John Lynch.
But I mean, Edgerrin James was a great, really great running back for a period of time.
Well, if Edgerrin James gets in, shouldn't Steven Jackson get in?
Well, that's what's happened over the last couple of years with the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Terrell Davis getting in after playing only for a handful of seasons, even though those handful of seasons were really dominant years and included a couple of Super Bowls, but still his body of work is very short.
And compacted, yeah. Same with Edgerrin.
Yeah, so...
Anyway.
I don't know. And a kind of sombering note, February 24th has been chosen for Kobe Bryant and his daughter for their services. So, at Staples Center, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that that's going to be an emotional affair.
I'm sure it will be.
Senator Dianne Feinstein has already come out saying that they need to have tighter restrictions and mandate some control issues on helicopters as far as dealing with fog and safety and things like this. It's just kind of a real impactful time, emotional time for Lakers fans and, of course, for his family and close friends and things like that. But and it's still, even after, it's been a matter of days now, but it's still a very sombering
Yeah, that was a weird day. It was like really weird, just from start to finish. You know, like the minute you heard the news, you know, it's still kind of weird. It's just weird. You know, I compared it to some of my friends. I said the closest that we would ever get to this in another sport would be Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Right? Think almost the greatest, but not quite the greatest. Recently retired, beloved. It's pretty weird, pretty impactful.
Yeah, it's something that the ramifications of this, the impact of this, is going to be felt for years and years and years. Hopefully for the better. You know, hopefully for the better. And you hate losing, an icon, and that's what Kobe was, a global icon. It's like losing Jordan right after, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it would have had the same kind of impact, man. And you hope helicopter safety and things like that, you hope it's for the better. They do improve that kind of stuff.
Right.
The young lives that were lost in it were
that's horrible.
Incredibly tragic, especially if you have kids or anything like that.
And out the bellies with mother, father, daughter, and then
an entire
family, right? And their relatives that just literally lost an entire family.
Yeah. I mean,
it's horrific.
It's heartbreaking and horrific. So
yeah,
but that'll be February 24th at Staples. But they'll have a public service for Kobe Bryant and his daughter. In other news, I don't know how you segue that.
I don't
know. The XFL is kicking off. A lot of talk about the XFL. If you don't know, if you haven't kept up with the XFL, which a lot of shows here in Gorilla Cross kind of dove into XFL, so we won't get into a whole lot of it. But they're going to play 10 games starting February 8th, concluding April 12th. As far as regular seasons, the XFL Championship is going to be on April 26th, which is the day after the 2020 NFL Draft. And there's, 10 teams? 8 teams? 8 teams.
Yeah, 8.
Dallas, D.C., Houston, Los Angeles, New York, St. Louis, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. I'm kind of sad that Las Vegas was left out this time. I mean, we had one of the original ones.
How did we not get a team, right?
How did we not get it? I don't know. Maybe because now we're playing big boy sports. We want big boy teams.
We're too good for that now, right?
The NFL said no. I mean, these other cities have NFL teams.
San Diego should have got a team.
Yeah, I think so, man. There's lots of room for expansion, obviously.
I'm excited for it.
Are you excited for it? I'm kind of like, if I happen to catch a game on TV, I think I'll watch it. But I don't think, Quan, are you setting aside time to watch the XFL?
Is that this year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check my schedule.
That is no.
It's one of those things that I'll hit the DVR, and then when I come home from work, I'll put it on, and if you look at it as the NFL, you're going to be highly disappointed. But if you adjust your expectations and think to yourself, to watch this as a developmental league, well, then you might enjoy it, right?
Right.
It's all about your expectations. Don't hope that you're going to go in there and see the Chiefs running up and down the field. It's not going to happen, but it could be entertaining and adjust your expectations, and it could be fun. Hey, it's football.
Yeah. I mean, the first time...
A bad day of football is better than a good day of work, man.
I don't know. Have you been a Browns fan ever? Have you been a Cowboys fan lately? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some days I just want to go, I turn it off, and I'm like, you know what? The backyard needs to be raked. And I go out there and I rake the yard. But it should be, if nothing else, it should kind of get you through that lull between, I mean, this is diehards, and they're counting on a big chunk of diehards and curiosity from common folk to kind of tune in. No, it is not going to be the NFL. It's not going to be that level. It's more of a high school, maybe.
No. These kids
D2?
These kids played college football. I mean, you got to look at it like the AAAs, man. That's the best way to look at it.
AAAs,
AAA baseball.
Yeah, I think you're being nice.
No,
you're being nice. AAA.
They're guarantee you an XFL team. How's this for a prediction? It'll never happen, but XFL team champion, the champion, could beat any college team.
Any?
Clemson? Sure. I think so.
I don't know.
These are guys that just barely missed the cut in the NFL.
You're probably right. I mean, you're talking about guys like nobody I know. Landry Jones. I think Landry Jones is in there.
Yeah.
Maybe Landry's going to be
Landry's
thrown.
in there. Yeah, they got it. They got it. I mean,
They haven't released the name of too many players, and they say that's on purpose because they're going after guys that are going to stick around, not guys like Johnny Manziel who would, play maybe 4 games and jump away from it.
at what point is the XFL going to make this their business model? Don't draft or bring in players that didn't make the NFL, but instead recruit and give 3-year contracts to high school seniors coming out of high school.
Ooh.
That would be my business model.
Because the NFL says you have to be 3 years removed from.
And what would that do to
High school,
college?
you have
What
to
would
be a
that do
certain
to college football?
Can they pay more than college does though?
No, top level college. It's not Clemson.
Yeah.
Not Alabama.
No.
Right. But no, just think about it. If you got 8 or 10 of the top quarterbacks
paying
to
working man salaries.
instead of go to college, you get 8 or 10 of the top quarterbacks to come to the XFL, right? And then you get some top tier running backs. So pay them $50,000 a year just for like your running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks.
I think that's around what they're making, like 40, 35, 40.
See, and do it with
I don't
high
know,
school
I'm
kids.
probably off on that.
Wipe college sports off the map, and just literally become a training ground for the NFL.
Well, it is going to be interesting because the NCAA, they're ruling they're going to be paying athletes at sometime in the next few years. They're going to be paying athletes. So does it make sense for these kids who, if you're in Division 2 or Division 3 or something like that, the most you can hope for is maybe an undrafted free agent, a walk-on, get the practice squad or something like that. Instead, you could go and maybe get some real playing time, and maybe you're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars to begin with. You're making a blue-collar salary, but you get reps.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, this time around where Vince McMahon was wanting to go head-to-head with the NFL, now he's realized, the NFL might be around for a while, and I think people are going to choose, if they have to choose, they're going to choose the NFL. So why not become kind of like a feeder?
That's my point. The first kid that decides I'm going to go play for the XFL for $50,000 a year instead of go maybe get my career derailed at Clemson, that's going to change the landscape of football.
You think it's like Herschel Walker in the USFL?
If you treat it like a true stepping stone, you basically just replace college football with it, man. I mean, that really should be a business model they go after.
I think if it makes it, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, if it makes it to years 3, 4, and 5 when they've had a chance to really implement what they're going to try to do to recruit players into it, if it makes it that far, the games could be really interesting after that.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking about, like you said earlier, high level, college games or something like that, which is still very interesting and it's really good football. So rather than a bunch of cast-offs, now all of a sudden you kind of shed that aura of, okay, it's not cast-offs anymore. Now we've got our own players, we got our own system.
Yep.
We got, maybe they've expanded by that time to 10 or 12 teams.
Yep.
And maybe by that time, hopefully they're making money. But we will get to how much Vince McMahon stands to lose in this first year in just a minute. And we're going to have a couple of, let's do a couple of say whats. This should get you hyped here. There we go. XFL chairman Vince McMahon stands to lose $375 million in the first season of the XFL.
That's a big number. But my other question is, when they say stands to lose, what needs to happen for him not to lose that? That's what I want to read up on and find out what he needs to have happen to not lose that kind of money. Are they expecting 100% sellouts at the gate? I don't think that's going to happen. So, I mean, if he's like projecting worst case scenarios, like, okay, so if our concession sales, if our gate doesn't hit A, B, and C, then I'm going to lose it. Yeah, I think he's probably going to lose a good chunk of that. Yeah, if that's worst case scenario, I think he loses half of that.
And if he loses half of that, I think he'd be okay with it. I believe in the beginning he cashed in about $500 million. And yes, I said it like Dr. Evil on purpose. $500 million in WWE, that's pro wrestling stock, to fund this. on this second foray into football.
He's, for everything that he is, I don't think he's an idiot. Okay,
No, he's definitely not an idiot.
No, and
No.
I gotta think he's learned some lessons and would attack this a little bit differently. He already seems like he's attacking it different with Luck in charge, right? I mean, the whole thing just feels a little bit different than the AF, and it feels different than the XFL version 1.0. I mean, you got a guy like Luck running things. It lends credibility to your organization.
Yeah,
So-
and you're hoping for that too.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be Punchline for a little while. The first time something goofy is shown.
So was the AFL.
the AFL was a Punchline
It
for a
was
long
joke
time.
for a long time.
It absolutely was. You're absolutely right there. So maybe you never know. We never know. You know what? I think it's unfair of me to judge it so harshly before a game's been played. So let me see.
Don't be so mean.
I know,
Jeremy.
That's my
God.
crutch the bear, man. A man is suing the NFL for being exposed to the crotch shots during the Super Bowl halftime show. He is a Christian man.
Of course.
He is claiming that the halftime show is keeping him from heaven. And he is suing the NFL for $867 trillion.
Okay.
Or the GNP of both America and
Yeah.
Russia.
I could fill up a roll of toilet paper on both sides with my list of things that are wrong with this lawsuit. But I'll keep it short. First of all, how does he come to the number? Second of all, what's wrong with his on-off button? I mean, just the normal things that everyone would think. And are we using the term man loosely? Because he might be the only one that's offended by the halftime
Oh, no, there
show.
were plenty of people offended. Probably a lot of Rush Limbaugh fans.
Of course.
This guy's name, Dave Daubenmire. He is the host of the Pass the Salt Live webcast, which I'm guessing this was all for publicity to his webcast. Explained his case during his most recent YouTube video, saying, "I think we ought to sue. Would that halftime show, would that have been rated PG? Were there any warnings that your 12-year-old son, whose hormones are just starting to operate, was there any warning that what was going to..." This doesn't make any sense. Basically, you are sexually exciting my 12-year-old son, and you are also sexually exciting me. And there's, we do that, we can't go to heaven kind of thing. So we're going to sue him for $867 trillion. It doesn't make sense when I read it because
No.
it doesn't make sense at all.
It makes zero sense. If the NFL had any intestinal fortitude, they would countersue. They would countersue for the cost of providing a free sexual education video to him and his children. I mean, seriously, I would literally countersue for the cost of a video, $13.99 plus tax and shipping.
I put your kids through sex ed.
That's it. I would counter. Hey, listen. If the NFL has one thing, it's lawyers and lots of free time, right?
They are all lawyers, and they have nothing but free time. Yes.
And I would fight for my $13.99. Well, they made a
That's
point
funny.
to pay Donald Trump his $1, right?
Yeah.
So the NFL is not beyond petty grievances.
What did you think about that halftime show?
I thought it was.
Did it morally corrupt you?
Well-
a lot of people were corrupted, and I just want to make sure that I'm not sitting with the corrupted guy.
No, so I sent a text to a couple of friends. We just set a new Super Bowl record. Most performers I would like to get to know. Now, the funny part is, I hit send on that text, and as I'm typing it, I send it, and then I look up, and the stage is filled with 12-year-old girls, and I'm like, oh my God, no! So I'm like, minus the performers that just walked out on the stage.
Wow.
I know.
But right before that was filled with all J-Lo's backup dancers that were all males. So
Oh yeah, well,
And
starting to question your boy.
no.
and the rapper whose name I don't know,
My
who was
thumbs
dressed like Aluminum Man.
I know. It was
Ali G, right?
Was that Ali? Was that Ali G?
I'll tell you what, man. There was
Make it-
nothing offensive about that halftime show, except
Really?
that it ended.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, I'm like, why is this not the halftime show every year? I mean,
Just award
I'm all about women's empowerment, and hey, right on, I'm standing with y'all.
Hey, lifetime contracts.
I think the only way
Done deal.
you're gonna catch flack is if you're like, hey, babe, she's 50, so I mean,
Yeah.
what's your excuse? Yeah. Not that anyone here would ever say that to
No.
a woman. And I'm certainly not saying that to my woman. Yeah,
That would not go over well.
and I'm sleeping at Quan's.
Yes.
I'm sleeping on the futon over here. Antonio Brown has agreed to face Logan Paul in a boxing matchup.
Logan.
He is also, Logan Paul.
Oh yeah.
Logan Paul, the YouTube
I call him
star.
Logan Nowitzki.
Yeah, there you go. Logan Nowitzki at a boxing matchup. And once again, he apologizes for the trouble he has caused to the Steelers only. He has apologized once again to the Steelers and no one else.
Jesus.
At this point, what is, I mean, this is,
He's the gift that keeps on giving.
man, I'm telling you, that is,
I mean-
mental health is no joke, but, something is going on with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I know. But it happens so quickly, which is scary, right? You said mental health is no joke, but it makes you wonder, is it mental health or is it really just a ploy for publicity at this point? I mean, I don't know what it is.
NFL wide receivers have been known to be divas. I mean, Terrell Owens.
Exactly.
Chad Ochocinco. I mean, just name them. You know what I'm saying? And why is it that position seems to be more divish than other positions?
It doesn't have to be. Marvin Harrison wasn't.
I said a few weeks ago, talking about this very same thing with MP. How much did the Steelers cover up? Because like you just said, I mean, he didn't just become this overnight.
Right.
He was traded, or let go or whatever with the, from the Steelers to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he just seems to have, lost control of, I guess, the filter, or now he doesn't have those things in place like the Steelers must have had, because you don't just become like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he posted that Facebook Live of Tomlin giving the speech, I think that was just the little tip of the iceberg that we were allowed to see, and God only knows what they were covering up, the other stuff he was doing.
Yeah. I
mean,
whatever those PR people made for the Steelers, man,
grossly underpaid.
Grossly underpaid. Those people should be leading the Astros right now.
Yes.
For all this stuff. And finally, Kevin Durant still apparently uses burner accounts on Twitter to respond to his haters. Is this just another man-child moment, or you know what? Would you create a burner account to respond to some of your haters? I know Quan goes one-on-one with people, so I know he wouldn't. But
yeah,
I love if you don't follow Quan on Facebook or whatever, you should, because he's got some hilarious stuff.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I don't think I would ever go the burner route. If I needed to pretend that I had people in my corner, I would just go it solo, and defend myself. And no, I wouldn't use a burner account. Like, come on, man, let's grow up. That's an Antonio Brown move.
Kevin Durant has what, $200 million in the bank, and he's got championship rings.
And why is he worried?
Why is he worried about this?
Why is he worried?
Is he mentally weak?
He can go straight LeBron and say, hey, at the end of the day, you guys have to live your life.
Yeah. LeBron just seems to handle it better. I don't know. Some guys are prepared for this kind of lifestyle, and others won't. But I'll tell you this much, and I always say it about Kevin Durant. Even when he was at Texas for the one season he was there, he was a big baby. And the team later came out and said, this guy was just a diva and a little kind of whiny person, so
yeah, some people
kind of just fits. I mean, Kevin Durant maybe just a whiny.
You see that, and I mean, it gets magnified in the sports world, obviously, but you see that in any organization, any business. There's always that 10%, right, that just have to cry a little bit. Nothing's good enough. Everyone's offended, and maybe Durant's that 10%.
Maybe so.
He can play ball, but hey, he's got his side issues.
And just kind of looking ahead as we come to a close here this weekend, the big fight. John Jones makes his return to the UFC to face Dominic Reyes, who's being touted as a huge problem for Jones. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'll believe that when I see it. I mean, I don't think anyone's a huge problem for Jones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, sure. Jones can lose a fight, but a huge problem? Oh, like Jones is a huge problem for me. That's what I consider a huge problem. So no, this guy's not a huge problem for John Jones. No.
Oh, there you go. So UFC 247. John Jones makes his return after a little while.
Fury
So we'll
Wilder?
see. Fury Wilder. That's coming up.
That's coming up this Saturday,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it this Saturday?
I think so.
It's the 22nd.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
too
the
hyped for
22nd.
that.
After, I mean, you saw so many commercials during the Super Bowl. You would.
I
think
know, right?
You would think it was this weekend or something like that, but and that's probably why they didn't invite or didn't do a press tour for Fury Wilder, because they spent all their money in the Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, no kidding.
15-second Super Bowl ads, but you reach 100 million people. It's better
Yeah.
than coming to Vegas and dealing with us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Bunch
True.
of animals here.
We can be
All
bad.
right, so that's TFC for the week. Stay with us about 15 minutes. We'll have levels. John, thank you so much for sitting in, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Jeremy.
Yeah, MP and I, we're treating you like a divorce couple.
I know,
You know,
right?
I get you one week, he gets you the next. I'm out next week, so you're probably going to be here again. So
Nice,
you know,
I hear
MP has you. Well, you know, we meet at a grocery store and he gives you to me.
I don't even get
It's
dropped
okay.
off at the house.
You know, if you get dropped off at the house, that's how much we don't like you.
I know.
So for everyone here, Gorilla Cross Studios, Quan 59, I'm Jay Long. We'll see you next week.